my channel. My name is Penda, and if you are tuned in today, I am super excited because I'm going to be launching my new Foundation Olympics series. What's the Foundation Olympics, you might ask? It is going to be a week of me dropping a new video every day at 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, where I'm going to be reviewing one of the new foundations that have launched. If you guys have been keeping up, then you know that these birds have been launching foundation after foundation after foundation, and I feel like it's just super hard to figure out where do you start, which one do you buy. So I'm going to take a little bit of the work off from you, and I'm going to be reviewing 5 different foundations to show you guys how it blends, what the coverage looks like, how it wears, what the shade range is looking like or is not looking like, so that you can make the best decision on which one is going to be the best for you. At the end of this week, I will be doing a video where I'll be compiling some of the looks so that you can see what my pros and cons are all together, and you can decide where you want to spend your coin. If you're interested in this series, make sure you go ahead and tell a friend to make sure she is tuned in or he is tuned in. Also, I want to credit Too Much Mouth and Nima Tank here on YouTube because they both have foundation series. One is the deeper shades and the other is the foundation hunt, and I definitely pulled inspiration from both of those in regards to how I'm going to be doing my reviews. So I'm going to link their channels down below. Make sure you check out their foundation series as well. So to get started with the series, I'm going to start off with the Urban Decay Stay Naked new foundation that they launched, as well as their concealers. I'm going to tell you right now, one of the two did not work at all for me, but you have to watch the full video to see which one and why. Make sure you go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So as you now know, it is Foundation Olympics week, so we're gonna go ahead and I'm going to be testing out the new Urban Decay foundation that just recently came out, as well as 2 of their concealers that came out as well. One thing I want to note before even getting started with putting this shade on is that I did purchase N1WR. I feel like one of the things that I've noticed about this foundation is that it's super difficult for me to kind of follow the shade range, because it's not like it goes in order from lightest to darkest or from darkest to lightest. The shades are kind of mixed up. And then another thing is that this shade is not something I was able to find in store. So with this range, what I noticed is that they have a lot of shades online, whether you get it from urbandecay.com or whether you get it from Ulta or Sephora. But when you physically go in store, they do not have all of the shades in stock, and that made it super difficult for me to try to figure out what shade I was gonna get. So I did just match myself online, and I picked up N1WR. We don't know, and I don't know how it's going to look, so we're gonna try it out today live and see what the shade match looks like. But regardless, we're gonna test it out. The video is going up, so we're gonna have to make it work. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna dot it on. And it looks like it's maybe a shade or 2 darker than me. So far as how it feels super liquidy. It doesn't feel, it has a smell. It smells to me a little bit, I don't know, there's like an alcohol smell in it. I'm not sure if there's alcohol in the foundation itself, but I'll look that up. But so far, besides the slight smell, it applied liquidy. The coverage looks pretty good so far. And the shade isn't too far off. It's literally just a few shades darker, so I don't really mind that. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take a foundation brush. We're gonna take this one from Makeup Addiction Cosmetics, and I'm just going to start blending that in. So far as I'm applying it, what I've noticed is that it blends really nicely. It moves very easily, especially with the liquid consistency. And then on top of that, it definitely dries down pretty fast as well, just because the places where I blended the foundation on my skin pretty much dried down, and it almost melts down to be pretty much my perfect shade. I definitely could use some concealer to brighten it up a little bit, but overall the shade match was pretty good. So I'm low-key proud of myself because I matched myself online, and I really hate doing that, but this looks to be a spot on match to me. And then one side without the foundation. So it definitely has a red undertone, but it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. So I'm just going to add a little bit more just to see how buildable it is. Okay, Urban Decay, let me find out. I'm really surprised that a lot of people aren't talking about this foundation, because so far, besides the smell is really off-putting. Like, I'm not feeling the smell at all. But the shade and the way that it blends is super nice. And it's definitely giving my skin coverage. which I like as well. And I like when I can get coverage from foundations, but at the same time, the foundation itself isn't super heavy. Because who wants to wear super heavy foundation and feel like their face is caked on? I definitely don't. So I like the fact that I'm able to apply the foundation. It's covering up my hyperpigmentation. It's blending on nicely and it's blending in smoothly. But at the same time, I don't feel like I have on a heavy face, even though I'm definitely getting coverage from the foundation. I definitely accidentally took off a piece of brow, so I'm gonna go back over it and fill that little part in with the Fenty brow product. And if you haven't checked out my review, I'm gonna link it above right here. But overall, from my first impressions, looking at this foundation, it looks pretty good to me. I can definitely tell that my face is a bit redder and a bit darker than my skin as far as like my chest is concerned, but I feel like once I do my concealer, it'll definitely cover that up. Once I apply like my setting powder, I think it'll all balance out. But just as a first impression, this is what my skin looks like. And I feel like even though it's full coverage, it's not extreme full coverage. I'm pretty sure I could blend it up more or build onto it more, but I'm just gonna leave it like this because like I told you guys before in previous videos, full coverage is nice, but I don't need everything to be covered up because at the end of the day, skin is still skin. And I'm gonna zoom you in more. So this is as zoomed in as you guys can be, just to see what it's looking like. So you still see my natural contour line. So I'm going in with the Urban Decay Naked Concealer. I was going to do a voiceover, or I am doing a voiceover, but in the future I am just going to talk through any concealer that I'm using to match with the foundation. What I'm noticing now is that this concealer off rip was way too light. And these are some of the darkest shades in the spectrum of the concealer that is offered for this new line. Once I'm blending, I started to notice almost immediately that my skin started to look a little gray underneath my eyes, and it was becoming difficult to blend. You saw my face. I was just like, what's going on here? Because I see the concealer literally lifting. So I added some more on just to give it more coverage and just to go back over it and blend. And I saw the same issue happening. So I thought to myself, maybe it was the sponge. So I went ahead and I switched it over to the Beauty Blender, which I always or never have an issue with. I added more concealer and I started to notice patchiness again. So I decided to switch over other sides just to see if maybe it was just that area. But again, it started to get patchy here and it also started lifting on my skin. So yeah, not working. So at first I was just going to do a voiceover for the concealer review part, and you guys probably hear the voiceover of me as I was applying it, but I really do not like this concealer at all. It is super patchy everywhere on my face. I did switch out my beauty sponge to change it up, and the consistency of the concealer is very thick and almost like dry. I feel like the foundation is more liquidy and more movable than the concealer is. So I'm actually going to switch the concealer. I'm trying to work with this, and I've applied multiple layers in order to get a basic or even blend. I love the wand of it. It's pretty much like a curved wand, so I really like that. And I wanted to focus so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. So there's like a dip in the wand, but the consistency is really weird. It's like it feels very dry. That's the only way I can explain it, is that the concealer itself feels dry. And I've never like had issues with blending underneath my eye, especially not recently, like maybe when I first started learning how to do makeup. And then there's a spot here, like this is the spot that I feel like wasn't covered from the foundation. There's like no coverage coming on it at all. I feel like it's breaking up already on my skin over here. This is really off. Oh no, this concealer gotta go. I'm sorry. I'm actually about to take a makeup removal wipe and wipe off the areas of my face that have the concealer, and I'm just gonna start back again where I applied the concealer, because this is honestly, and I've never done this before, this is low-key a little ridiculous. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's my skin type, but I'm oily combination. Maybe, I don't know, like, because I don't want to say it's the actual product. Maybe it's my use of it, but as of right now, it's a no-go. We're gonna have to remove that. It blended pretty okay on my chin area, but how can you mess up blending on your chin area? But underneath my eye, it was very, 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 very drying. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove that. I'm gonna take my sponge and like blend this area a little bit. I'm gonna go back over with the foundation. I'm a little frustrated because I'm not used to that. The smell of this is really off-putting. Like, y'all, the smell of this is super strong. And this is why I low-key don't like trying a lot of new foundations, because I'm really hoping that this does not break me out. If it does, I will let you guys know. My skin is already going through it and I don't know from what, but this is no bueno. Okay. Now I'm gonna see if it's the sponge, because I'm gonna use a concealer that I normally use to blend and see if that makes any difference. Give me a second. Okay, so I just went and reapplied the foundation. I'm gonna go in with the Juvia's Place concealer. And I'm gonna go ahead and put my voiceover back on or do like a silent tutorial. But if it is my blending or if it is the sponge, I'll be able to tell, because this is the concealer that I've been using the most recently. So if I can't blend with this, then it might be the combination of the foundation and the concealer, but we'll see. So as you guys can see, just based off the way that that applied, is definitely the Urban Decay concealer. So that Urban Decay concealer is definitely a no-go for me, for my skin type. I don't know, maybe if it was the mixture of what I use for my primer, but I use what I normally use. But it wasn't giving me coverage. It just overall was not a good look. Whereas this one, you don't see the patches, it's blending in flawlessly. And this is the one that I usually use. So I'm just going to continue to review the foundation, not the concealer. So that's that on that. I don't know what to tell y'all. Look up other tutorials, see how it looked to other people, but for me, it's just, it wasn't working. Alright guys, so I am back and this is the finished look, and as you guys saw through that voiceover, I had to completely scrap using the concealer because honestly it works horribly on my skin type. I don't know if it's the primer that I used mixed in with it or what it was, but I've never had that happen with a concealer. So I was really shocked and a little frustrated. My face did also sting a little bit after I removed the concealer and then applied another layer of foundation and then another layer of concealer. So for a fact, before we even get into the end, I know that the concealer was not it for me. As far as the face, this is what it looks like when I am done. I'm not sure if you guys can tell already, but I'm not really a huge fan of this on myself. I just feel like there's been times where my face has looked better. I'm going to zoom you guys in all the way. So I just zoomed you guys in all the way, and I don't know, like, there's some things I like, some things I don't like. I could also just be having a bad makeup day. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I'll get into my thoughts and opinions at the end of the video. I just wanted to show you guys the face, but I'm not feeling it 100% if I'm being honest. It's just something is off and I can't figure out what right now. I'm gonna look at myself closer in the mirror. I don't know what it is, but something is off. So I think the shade is okay. Like, I feel like the shade itself pretty much matched me perfectly. I think I'm having a bad makeup day, but I'm not in love with my makeup. Like, it's cool, but I'm not in love with my makeup at all. And I'm just gonna keep it all the way real with you guys. Like, I feel like it's just not hitting. But I'm gonna go ahead and wear the foundation, and it's currently 5:52. And to be very honest with you, I don't think I'm gonna do an 8-hour wear test, just because the foundation has such a strong alcohol smell. Because of the smell of this, I'm nervous to let it sit in my skin for a long period of time. So I'll probably keep this on until like 10, 11, and then I'll take it off. But here's what we look like so far. It's pretty nice. Like, don't get me wrong, I feel like the foundation itself is pretty nice, but just overall my makeup, something is off and I can't figure out what it is. Maybe it's the lashes and the liner, I don't know, something is throwing me off. I'm gonna continue blending out my face, and then I'll come back after a few hours to show you guys how it wears and to give you my final thoughts and opinions on the new Urban Decay foundation. So Foundation Olympics, we getting started a little rocky, okay? A little rocky, no ASAP, but this is her. This is the big face. This is the big face. She's here regardless. All right, let me zoom you out so you can see as well. And then when I'm zoomed out, this is what it looks like. So I feel like from afar, it looks pretty good. It's just up close, I don't know, it's clocking me and I don't like to be clocked. So let me go for it this time. I'll come back. Next time you see me, it'll be me getting into my pros, cons, final thoughts, and opinions. So this is my foundation in natural lighting, or the horrible lighting that is in my apartment. And I have my friend Kendra here. What do you think about the foundation?
It's giving me a little bit of gray. But obviously, like, you did your contour and highlight and stuff. So, but just looking at your skin, like in this area, it's giving me gray.
So the foundation looks good?
Yeah.
Okay. You heard it here first. Okay. All right, guys, I know this is a different setup, a different background area. Don't mind it. I currently set up in my living room because I'm filming other videos. It is now 12:11, so I've had the foundation on for about 6 hours now. Overall, I have a lot of thoughts. I have a lot of opinions. You guys saw a few clips as far as what my friend said and how it looked to her. So let's go ahead and get into these pros and these cons. So the first pro for me is going to be the actual, like, way the foundation wears after a while. I haven't had to blot or add any powder since I started wearing the foundation, which is a really good thing. I've been hot at times because I do have so many lights around me and I filmed a lot of videos. I went outside for a little bit and I feel like the foundation itself, like, it actually holds up if you have oily skin. So a huge pro is going to be the formula if you are someone that has oily skin. The second pro is going to be that the way it blends and the way that it moves. I feel like the foundation itself, it was able to blend easily. I was able to layer more, you know, coverage of the foundation on both sides of my face, and it didn't give me any issues when it came to actually blending on my skin. So the first con for me is going to be the shade. So I feel like with this shade, it's super weird for me because sometimes I feel like it's a little too red. Then I'll look up close in different lighting and feel like it's a little too gray. Then I feel like it's not giving me, like, it's a little patchy in certain areas, and the patchiness isn't really a result of the foundation, it's more so of that concealer. But overall, I just feel like the actual foundation shade itself wasn't the best on me. I don't know if it's based on how it oxidized, but the shade match wasn't perfect. Like, I wasn't looking at my skin today and being in love with the way that it looked. The second con for me is going to be more so me getting into the concealers. So for the concealers, I don't have any pros, to be very honest with you guys. I feel like the shade range of the concealers can be improved. One of the shades looked a little too orange for me. The second con of the concealer, besides the actual shades itself, was the way that it applied on my skin. So it almost applied super dry. I don't know how to explain it other than saying that it was very drying on my skin. So when I was blending it, it was patchy, it wasn't moving, and I didn't even have it sitting on my skin for that long. It just was not doing anything for me. Going back to the cons for the foundation, I feel like what ended up happening is because I used that concealer and it left me patchy, it was harder for me to move the foundation or for the foundation to look seamless because of everything that had happened already with the concealer. So I hope that makes sense. The coverage of the foundation itself was good. I was able to build it, but once I put that concealer on top of the foundation itself didn't mix well with everything else because it was going through a lot. The next con for the foundation is going to be the smell. I don't know about you guys, but a smell of a foundation scares me. It makes me feel like I'm gonna break out. It makes me feel like my skin is gonna go into haywire. So I really don't like the fact that this foundation had a very strong smell in general. It has a very alcohol-y smell for me personally. If you guys can get into a Sephora and test it out, make sure you do and let me know what you think about it. Another con of the foundation, and I'm sorry y'all, but I was not a huge fan of both of these products, so I just have to be honest with you. Another con of the foundation is just the shade range was very confusing to me. The WR, the WO, it was just a lot going on. So that for me was a little confusing when it came to picking a shade. And I mentioned this earlier, but the fact that the foundation is available mostly online, but you can't get every shade in store, it makes it difficult for someone like me where it's like, I tried out a shade that I can make work, but I don't like the way that it looked completely on me, so I want to be able to test out and play around with different shades in real life before buying it. I can't do that with this shade range because everything is not available in stores in Ulta or on Sephora, or in Sephora, I mean. Overall, I'm not a fan. Like, I feel like my makeup today didn't really look the way that I usually like it to look. It wasn't giving me everything. It wasn't giving me life. So as far as my rate for this, I'm going to say that this foundation is like, the foundation is like a 4 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10. And the thing that's really giving it the hold is that it definitely does hold up on oily skin. But other than that, there's not really much else that I love about it. And then for the concealer, it gets a 2 out of 10. And it's getting those 2 points because it does have good coverage. Like, it definitely looked like it was a full coverage concealer. The concealer itself had more coverage than the foundation. The foundation was liquidy, but the concealer was a little bit thick. Alright guys, that is going to be it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, even though there was a lot going on. And I hope that you guys are super, super excited for the Foundation Olympics. As I said, I'm going to be here every day, Monday through Friday at 6 o'clock, giving you guys a new foundation that I'm going to be wearing, trying out, and testing out. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe on your way out and tell a friend to tune in. Comment down below and let me know what you thought of this foundation as well as the concealer. Let me know your thoughts. Have you tried them? Did you have any issues with the concealer? Let me know. I want to hear it all. I love you guys so much, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Bye.
Yeah, yeah.